Hi, guess who's back? Yes, it's taken a couple of weeks, and there was a reason for that. One, I had the flu for about 2 weeks, then I lost my voice for about 10 days, and now I'm finally back. I feel energized, I have a voice again, so I thought, let's make another video. Hi, my name is Isa. Welcome to my channel where I talk about slow living, minimalism, and basically my midlife. In this video, I want to talk about my slow living morning. Uh, there's a lot of talk about how you should have your morning routine, and I also have a morning routine. And I want to talk about that, the 5 things I do in the morning to, set myself and my day up, which works for me. And it might not work for you. So take what resonates and take whatever you think you want to try out and see if it works for you. I'm not telling you that this is the morning routine. I will never do that. But this is what the 5 things I do in the morning to have a little bit more relaxed morning and to not have a stressful morning. And from a point of view of slow living and really be aware of what you do in the morning and live more purposefully. Number one, I wake up without setting an alarm. Yes, I do every day. And I started this in July 2020. In the midst of the pandemic, I was working from home and I thought, in the Netherlands, the sun rises around 4 or 5-ish in the morning. So I would wake up anyway around 6:30 in the morning. And I thought, why in the world am I setting an alarm? I'm already awake. Just dish the alarm and wake up naturally. And I started doing that. And I noticed that I almost woke up every day around 6:30, 7-ish. And I always felt energized every morning. I felt like I'd had enough sleep during the night. And you wake up when your body says, yes, I've had enough sleep, instead of rudely being awakened by an alarm going off next to your ear. And because a lot of the times in the past, when I use an alarm, I would wake up, when I'm in the middle of a deep sleep. And that feeling when you rudely awaken and you feel like, oh my God, is it morning already? Um, that's not a fun way to wake up. But when you wake up, because your body says, yes, I've had enough sleep. So I wake up going like, yes, okay, let's start today. And so I've been doing this now for about 5 years, 5.5 years, and I've never gone back. I never set an alarm, never, because my body now has this rhythm of waking up around 6:30, 7-ish in the morning. So I don't need to set an alarm because I have to leave the house around 7:30, 8-ish. I have a little bit of leeway of when I start my job. So, and sometimes I work from home. So I don't have to go anywhere as long as I'm logged on around 8, 9 o'clock. I'm fine. And even if I do sleep a little bit later, it doesn't have an impact on my job. Now, I understand that there are people who might watch this video and go like, yeah, that's nice enough, but I have to start my job at 7 o'clock in the morning. I get that. And that's why I said at the beginning of the video, take what resonates. If this doesn't work for you, it doesn't. But um, I would seriously try, because I think if you go back and think about a holiday you've been on where you haven't set an alarm every day, you will remember that you will probably have woken up very refreshed in the morning because your body woke up at the moment it had enough sleep. And have I not set an alarm at all in the last 5 years? No, I did set an alarm, I think about maybe 10 to 15 times um, when I really have to be somewhere early in the morning. I tend to set an alarm just in case, but I don't think I've been woken up by an alarm in the last 5.5 years. I always wake up before the alarm goes off, which to me is like perfect because again, my body has had enough sleep, and that's such a nice way to wake up in the morning. Now, this does mean that in the evenings, I also have an evening routine, and I can't go to bed around 12 and expect to wake up around 6:30 in the morning. That doesn't work. So I go to bed around 10:30, and that way I wake up around 6:30 in the morning. So, but I'll talk about my evening routine in another video. This video is about my 5 things in the morning. The second thing I do in the morning is not to look on my phone at least the first 30 minutes. Now, for me, that's quite easy because once I wake up, I don't get out of bed immediately. So I need to wake up properly before I get out of bed. I have low blood pressure. So if I really get up too fast, I faint. So that's not a nice way in the morning. So I wake up and when I feel like, okay, my blood pressure is high enough, I get up, and usually that takes about 15 to 20 minutes anyways. So it's quite easy for me not to be on my phone the first 30 minutes. But then, even though I do that, and when I get out of bed, I go and make myself a cup of coffee. I feed my cats, and then I sit on my couch. I noticed that the first thing I do is look at the news on my phone, and I've really been trying since the beginning of this year not to do that. To first do the third thing I'm going to talk about in a minute, and then get my phone and read the news and see what's been going on in the last couple of 10 hours. And but it's I try to do that. Um, so I tend to leave my phone at the side, and then I get my iPad. And I play a game on my iPad, which sort of doesn't really work because I'm still on a device, which I don't really want to be on in the morning. So it's been a bit of a learning curve, and trying to not get that anxious feeling of I really need to do this, I really need to do that on my phone or on my iPad. There are things you can do to make sure that you're not on your phone in the morning. You can, block your phone until a certain time in the morning. I've put on limits on how long I'm able to be on certain social media apps, and but for me that doesn't really work. I don't know why, but I'm trying to keep my mornings device free. And yeah, it's not every day is going okay. So I'm trying, and I'm getting better at it, because for me it really is. As soon as I get my phone, I'm hit with all the information, and I need to process all the information from news apps or social media, and I really don't want my brain to do that in the morning, especially in the early morning. So I'm really going to try and make an effort um, to really not get my phone and also my tablet in the morning. But it's a work in progress. I'm trying. Well, the third thing I'm doing, obviously, is journaling. I do that every day. I started that a long, long time ago. And these days, I always start journaling in the morning, because I've also noticed that it really activates my brain, and it helps me to process information faster. It helps me to analyze things faster. It helps me to properly wake up in the morning, and it also helps me to get everything I have in my head just out of it, so that I have space for other stuff. And um, and it's also a very good way for me to journal away things I'm bothered by or questions I have. And so, and it really depends. Some mornings I'm just journaling like half a page, and then there are other mornings I write about 3 pages. It really depends on what's going on in my life, what's going on in my head, basically. And so I write in my journal every day, and I don't care if it's good grammar. I don't care if it makes sense what I'm writing. I don't care that it goes from A to Z to X to Y to B to F. I don't care. Whatever pops into my head, I write down, because obviously I have this urge and this feeling that I need to get it on paper. And so every morning I sit on my couch with my cup of coffee, and usually there's a cat on my lap by that time, and I write in my journal. And that is something I will always make time for, because I know that this is, especially for my mental health, the best thing I can do to start my day. A fourth thing I do is, and it also has to do with the devices in the morning. And I think everybody does that. When you're eating, you put on, you either scroll on your social media, or you watch a television series or whatever. And I really try to, whenever I'm eating, just to eat. So no phone, no devices, no television, just sit there and be mindful of eating. And I've learned that the last year, especially during my health journey and losing weight, that if I spend my meals with only my meals, so no devices, no television, nothing, and really be mindful of what I'm eating and how I'm eating, and I tend to feel more full sooner. And that for me is been a game changer. It's also very nice to have like 3 times a day where your mind can just go quiet and not be busy with something else. And for me, that's also part of slow living, to not constantly be busy, to constantly do 2 things at the same time, eating and watching television, or eating and watching social media, writing in your journal and listening to music at the same time. I mean, yes, it can work if it's like instrumental, but I'm really trying to be focused and mindful on the things I do. And eating is one of them, because for the longest time I've always done something else while eating, and then my brain didn't notice that I was full. And now I do. And so I eat less, which is obviously very good, because my portions were way too big, and has led to a decrease of my body weight. So only eating and being mindful of what you eat and how it tastes as well. And it's for me, that is something, especially in the morning, that really works. And it's the part of where I'm, you quiet down, and that that morning feeling. And that is why I don't use a device while I'm eating. And the fifth thing I do, well, I try to do anyways, is be active. And that's not really only part of my morning routine. When I'm working from home, I try to go out and, and go around the block, just to get some steps in the morning. When I go to the office, I get my steps in anyways, because I have to walk to public transport. But I try to be a little bit more active, and I try to do a little bit more yoga, so that I get my body, stretched and energized in the morning. Do I do that every day? No, I don't. Do I wish that I did this every day? Yes, because once I do it, I'm always like, oh, this feels so nice. And so, it really is this feeling of like, your body wakes up as well. And so I don't understand why I don't do this every day. It only takes like 20 minutes. So you don't have to do like a 45-minute routine of yoga. You can just stretch for about 15 to 20 minutes. And I always feel energized after it. So I seriously don't understand my brain why I don't do this every day. But I don't. And I really want to try to do that every day. So I've been, tracking this, and I've noticed that once the days that I work it from home, yes, I do it. When I have to go to the office, I don't. And I don't know why, because I have the time. It's not a time thing. Um, so you have to analyze that, why that is. But I'm trying to be more active as well in the morning, because it sets up my day, and I have more energy during the rest of the day, instead of trying to be active at the end of the day or in the evenings, especially in the evenings. Doesn't really work for me because I can't sleep. So I'm really trying to incorporate being more active in the morning, and also, again, be more mindful of how is my body feeling today, and where am I feeling, aches and pains, or do I need to stretch a little bit more, or how do I feel after I've been active in the morning? And again, it's all about being more mindful of what you do, and that to me is what slow living is. It's more being more mindful and being more deliberate in the things you do instead of going on autopilot. And I can understand that a lot of people may think, oh yeah, but I don't have the time in the morning, I only have like 30 minutes and then I need to get out of the house. I get that. And I also get that you don't want to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I would not do that. I've lived that life, having to be in the office at 7 in the morning and waking up at 5:30. Oh my God. And being in a car at 6 because you needed to drive for about an hour, commute for about an hour. So I've lived that life, and I feel very privileged that I get to do this every day, and I realize that I'm privileged that I have a job where I can do this every morning. Um, but I also want to encourage you to, if you feel like this stress and rush in the morning, see where you can find those little things that can help you to at least slow down your mind. And the one thing I would suggest is be more mindful of what you do, and try to do one thing at a time and not three things at the same time. But I also realize that slow living isn't for everyone. It works for me. And these 5 things, the not waking up with an alarm, no phone or devices the first 30 minutes, morning journaling, being a little bit more active, and being mindful of my food, um, it has changed me in the morning. I feel way more relaxed. I feel way more positive as well in the morning. And it is what my body and my brain needs to be more energized and also more productive during the day. If I have a stressful and busy morning, I have a stressful and busy day, and I'm less productive on those days. And at the end of the day, I'm exhausted, and I don't want to feel that way anymore. These are the 5 things I've been doing for, well, some I've been doing for a very long time. Other things I've been doing since this year, and trying to incorporate things. And some work, some I'm not so good at yet. But maybe this is something you can try out as well, and let me know how you get along if you try one of these 5 things, and so we can inspire each other to be a little bit more mindful, a little bit more slow, uh, especially in the mornings, especially in the mornings for us people who are not morning people. It's very nice. Anyways, um, that was my video for today and for this week. So again, thank you for watching my video, and please like, comment, subscribe if you find this content interesting and helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Oh my God, something happened. Another ambulance, an ambulance, an ambulance, an ambulance. That's the third one. There's definitely something going on.